Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Hawshai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Hawshai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Hawshai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. All praises, honor, glory, and blessings and power be unto Abanawa Yahweh Alahai Noah Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the prophets of that body. Shalom. All right, what we see here on the screen is, all right, now this is from a visual point of view, all right. He could be a Jake also, all right, but what I'm trying to get into is the color factor of this term black. Now, these guys are being asked biblical questions, all right, they're answering it, all right. But what I'm trying to get here is the term called black. Now, he looks like an East Indian to me, like a Sri Lankan or a Bengali or a Tamil or a Maharashtrian, which is on more of the Mumbai side. Yes, Jakes look like that also because we are scattered to the four corners of the earth. I always emphasize that. All right, so you can't just go by how somebody looks, but for the most part, how you look is a definitive answer, but not always. Okay, that's why our prophets and elders say in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, you must try the spirit. You know, you gotta, you might ask them questions. Oh, how do you feel about the plight of the so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man in America, especially the so-called black man? What do you believe what the Messiah looks like? You know, all these kinds of things as well. Just to sort of find out are they Jake or not, right? But what I want to try and get here is at, and we were scattered pursuant to Numbers 28, not Numbers, Deuteronomy 28, verse 64, scattered to the four corners of the earth. All right. And Jake has been dealing with women of other nations, so sometimes the children come out looking like the other nations. All right. Your great grandfather. I mean, if you watched the show, This Is England, right? It's a UK based show around skinheads. The lead skinhead. When I first saw the show, I hated that. I hated that MFR. I said, man, this devil. And lo and behold, right? I'll show you. All right. I'm deviating, but I'll get back to the point. Salakia for that, man. My mind wanders. My mind wanders. Where is he? Where is he? Man, you got to see this guy with a bald head, man. How he looked in the show. All right, this guy, Stephen Graham. Yeah, here we go. Stephen Joseph Graham was born on the 3rd of August 1973 in Kirkby, Lancashire. He had a Swedish grandmother and a Jamaican grandfather. He's a Jake. All right. He's got obviously other family members, right, that will look. You know how it is, for example, if you got an Israelite father and an Israelite foreigner or a so called white mother, or, for example, you got 4 or 5 children. Some will come out dark, some will come out light, some will come out in between, some will just pass for near enough white. All right. He can pass for white. He's played a skinhead in This Is England. This guy had a shaved head. He had a tattoo of a cross on his forehead. All right. He's an Israelite. He's a Benjaminite. And it's quite spiritual in the fact that he played Al Capone, who's more than likely a Jake. There are theories that he could be a Amalekite because, he did have a whole host of Amalekites working for him because Amalek does change their names and try and fit into society. You got a lot of Amalekite small hatters living in Latin America with Spanish last surnames. Some in Italy with Italians last surnames, or some of them were not even Jake, right? But nevertheless, he's playing Al Capone, who's more than likely a Jake. Um, he was in the movie called The Yardies, I believe, something like that, right? But nevertheless, I just want to get to the fact that sometimes we come out, looking like our foremothers, but the nutsack he comes from, the seed line he comes from, is of a so-called black man. All right, he is an Israelite, and it's funny that they use an Israelite to play a skinhead when the skinhead culture does come from who? The Jamaicans, the West Indians, when they came to England in the 50s, I mean, they were there for generations and generations before, because the slave ports are in Liverpool, and in Liverpool, which is where the Beatles come from, right? There's a whole host of Indian-looking, Hispanic-looking, white-looking, sort of with Negro features, and these people look like that, but they all come from so-called black men, because the so-called black men slept with a whole host of white women, and they've been doing that for hundreds of years. Liverpool is a lot of Jacob there. All right, and now what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, oh yeah, the skinhead culture. The skinhead culture comes from Jake. All right, the bomber jackets, the short cropped hair like a fade, and Jake would have like a tram line. Like a tram line. We call them tram lines in the UK. I don't know what you call them up there. Like a line which is shaved, like it looks like a side parting. Jake would have that. You would have white people doing that. And after a little while, it went, and then you would have these so-called racist skinheads who went towards the racist side, right? Would always have a so-called black man with them, because these crackers, hate you, but they want to listen to the reggae and the soca and all that kind of music and dance to it, right? But hate so-called black people and brown people at the same time. Jake would, Esau, the so-called white man, doesn't have no element of cool, so they try and use an element of cool from Jake, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and twist it, and then um, put it into a racist format. It's like the prisons in America. You have a lot of the Aryan Nation and the so-called white boy gangs, right? That copy the style and movement of the Sureños, the Southerners, the Mexican gangs, and talk like them too. Have their beard styles and the handlebar mustaches and their goatees like them too. Tied it up, even though tidying up is wicked, but they try and copy the Mexicans and talk like them too, because the so-called white man doesn't have no salt or flavor. All right, Jacob is everything. All right, so we look like everyone. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying, man. I've deviated. Where is that? Was it here? Please tell me I haven't lost that page. I haven't lost that page, have I? Oh, damn it. Salakia, man. Let's go to my history. All right, I'm gonna get back to this. The term, the blackness, and the term black and white. Now, you see this East Indian guy here, right? You see so-called black man, all right? They're both brown-skinned, of course, but in this worldly terms, wouldn't he, if Esau wanted to label somebody black, why wouldn't they just call him black? Look how isn't he darker than the brother, right? But in this world, he's called black, and he's called an Indian, or he's called a Tamil, or he's called Pakistani, or he's called a Bengali, or he could be an Arab. He's an Arab or a Moroccan, all right? Or he could be Samoan, or he could be a Maori, Japheth. But he looks East Indian to me, all right? See how they do you, Jake? They give you bywords, man. Oh, you're black. I'm black. I'm black. That's what they keep calling you, right? When your skin is different shades of brown. Even this guy is a brown shade, but he's darker than him. But they don't call him black. Why do they call you black, huh, Jake? When I say Jake, I'm saying Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives come from. Why do they call you black? Because black means void of light, void of knowledge, black-hearted, evil, dirty, disgusting. That's what they call you. And you want to be called black? You know? I was listening to a show once, a radio show once, many years ago, and there's a so-called black woman that called up talking about her skin issues, because she wanted something to do with the hyperpigmentation or something to do with, I don't know, something to do with her skin. And she described herself like this. She goes, I'm black, but I have Indianish skin. This is in the UK. So I'm black, but I have Indianish skin. So basically, she's saying that she's light brown skinned, but she's black. So she's trying to emphasize the fact that she's either Afro Caribbean. I hate using that term, by the way. I'm just saying it so people understand, or she's so called African. All right. Okay. These are the terms that they call you, man. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. Um, Man, I've got so many pages open. I don't even know what let me delete this. Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh Shemashai shall lead thee. Yeah, moon cricket, nigger, spook, for you Latinos, wetback. I've even saw a movie back in the 80s with Nick Nolte in it. He called a Puerto Rican that with very dark skin. He said, "You nigger with straight hair." Yeah, you tontos, you tomahawks, calling a so-called native Indian woman squaw. Squaw means pussy. That's it. They just see you as pussy. Yeah, that's what they call you as. You know, your proverb and a byword. What is called? What do they talk about so-called Puerto Rican women? Oh, you're supposed to fuck them and not marry them. That's what they look at you. How you Hispanic women. And I was watching. But you guys worship the so-called white man so much. I was watching Rene Vaca, who's a comedian, and he asked a so-called Hispanic woman, "What is uh, your ideal man?" And she goes, "White," because they think they think so-called Jesus or they think the so-called they think the Messiah is a so-called white man. You know, byword. It's not really a good meaning. Byword meaning. A proverbial saying, proverb, a one that personifies a type, one that is noteworthy or notorious, a frequently used word or phrase, like nigger. Okay? That's what you're known as today. You'll be known by that. You know? Okay? And when did these names get invented? Where is it? Elder Malcolm of GMS Chicago brought this out, yeah? All right? This is from 2014 by Jacqueline Batalora. I mean, she could be Jake herself. Don't know. All right? Batalora does sound kind of, I don't know, Batalora. She's got the vowel at the end. I'm assuming Italian or Hispanic, but only the Lord knows. How whiteness was born with the monetization of black skin. All right, 1681, Virginia, the term black was used and white was created. White was created to give the so called white man some kind of sense of self respect, power to have over the so called black man. These are your Joe Sixpack crackers because even then, in that time, the so called white woman preferred, even though she was being threatened with slavery and the fact that if she had children by the so called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, especially the black and Native Indian, right, their children would go into slavery up until the age of 20, right? Their children would go into slavery. And even though she was threatened with all these things of going into slavery with her man and children going into slavery, the so called white woman was still marrying the so called black man and the Native Indian man. Why? Because a lot of white women will say, okay, the so called black man and then the so called Native Indian man look better, they smell better, they got all their teeth, their hygiene is better, and obviously in the bedroom department, they get down better, you know? Right? Even then, the so-called white man will try and entice white women, saying, "Okay, yeah, no, you marry me. I've got this much money and blah blah blah," because he was stealing left, right, and center, and taking land off the native Indians, stealing all the gold, diamonds from Puerto Rico, which means rich port. This is happening all through the islands, and I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg, right? And they were enticed with wealth, but the so-called white woman was so loyal, right? She wouldn't leave the so-called black man's side. She said, "Okay, no, I'm staying with him." Okay, but the so-called white man had to invent the term white, which means pure, righteous, angelic, clean, right? And call you brown people, you brown people, you so-called black people, you so-called African Americans, you so-called Negroes, black, which means dirty, void of light, disgusting, evil. Yeah, use these terms to create that differentiation and to give the so-called white man a little bit more of a leg up in society in terms of their presence. This is when it was created. Now you're known as a proverb and a byword and hated. All right. This is an old video. This guy, Benjamin Moore, I ain't making no money out of this. This is just on his channel. Check it out. All right. There you go. This guy. White people did not exist before 1681. And Elder Malcolm of GMS Chicago has brought this out on his channels as well. You subscribe to him. A great teacher in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Mashai. Subscribe to our apostles first on down, bishops and that as well, Okay, so this is when these terms are created. Right now, today, they got someone who's darker than an Israelite, but they'll call him black and they'll call you which country you come from. You know the why? Because, in the land of your captivity, you won't know where you come from. All your knowledge will be taken away. That's why a lot of you so-called black people, right, think that anybody that's brown or looks like you, like a Samoan or like an East Indian or like an Arab, you're going to call them, hey, brother, because you think they're brown. When they know who they are and they'll hate you, but they'll try and be like you, Jake. A so-called white man will try and be like you, spray tan themselves, get a Caesar haircut, call themselves Puerto Rican, try and fit in. I've seen that happen too. Even here in the UK, you got a lot of so-called white people that try and act hood. They get a spray tan done, darken their hair, get a Caesar haircut, and try and fit in. Because we've got a lot of Latinos and obviously Indian Jakes here in London as well, where they try and sort of blend in with them. They'll do that kind of thing, but you're known as black, right? Now you're known as what? A proverb and a byword, man. All right? A proverb and a byword. Okay. I'm trying to paraphrase some scripture, see if I can come out. So now you're known as a proverb, byword, and what did the Lord say? Now they clap their hands at thee. Now they clap their hands at thee. Because this is the only time, right, where in this captivity where the Israelites lost knowledge of who they were. And every other slavery, we knew that we were Israelites. We knew who our power was, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. On this side, we lost all knowledge of self. And I hate using the term knowledge of self, which is what the African wannabes use. But yeah, we lost all knowledge. And now the elect are waking up to it. Of the name Yahweh Bahashem Shai and who we are. And the fact that you can't eat pork. The fact that you can't get tattoos. The fact that you can't get crazy hairstyles. The fact that you can't be a faggot. All these things that are part of the law. Lamentations 2:15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Yeah. Look at the condition of our people. Our people were wicked in the 80s and 90s, but at least the women were in shape. They looked good. They had no tattoos. They had no septum rings. Most of them wore their natural hair. And Jake, looked sharp. Jake didn't have, the bald shaved heads and that, Even the old school rappers, had their natural fro. It wasn't lined up. Some of them, some of them had goatees or whatever. That's cool, but at least it has facial hair. But, nowadays, you got these guys with crazy hair, blonde dreads and all that. Then you got the Northern Kingdom following, your Israelite foreigners following that nonsense. You know. Now they say, what, these people, these ninjas are Israelites? These spics are Israelites? You know? Where are we at? Yeah? And we lost all knowledge of who we are. Now you worship wood and stone. Now you worship Allah, Buddha, white Jesus. You think the so-called white man is God when the white man, pursuant to the book of Maccabees, the so-called white man painted the likeness of his images, man. Painted the likeness of his images. Now you think that he's somebody. Now you Israelites calling yourself black. Some of you could be high yellow like Charlie Baltimore, or damn near pale, but you say I'm black. Some of you are Creole with straight hair, brown skin or tan skin, look damn near Italian, and you say I'm black. You know. See, that's the curse. And then you got East Indians that are darker than Jake, right? And they're not called black. Why are you called black? You know why? Because we broke the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Hence the reason why we are in the predicament today. But the elect have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Paraphrasing a scripture. The elect, the Israelites are the elect as a whole, but there's the elect within the elect that are waking up now, and we're going home soon. As you can see, the world is not the same. Those of you that are old enough to remember how the world used to be 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, it was hell then, but it was a way heck of a lot better than it is now. Now we are approaching the end. And all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yashai for that. Okay? We are approaching the end of the white man, the so-called white man. That's why when you watch an Israelite camp, they say so-called white man, so-called black man. Why? Because these terms did not exist prior to 1681. Okay? All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yashai. I'm going to leave it there. Shalom.